Hi, Tony. I wanted you to see what I'm seeing when I open this file. So I wanted to start from scratch here. I'm Home Designer Pro 2014. I've downloaded your file. Thank you for making the effort. Okay, I get this error message here. It says a polyline or slab, roof plane, or countertop, etc., does not contain one of its holes or skylights for roofs. Due to this or a previous change, please either fix or delete this polyline. Now I know you put a lot of work into this plan, but you just cannot afford, when you're making something this complicated, to overlook something and leave it behind. And as soon as this was originally done, you should have run down exactly what you did that caused this and undo it. When too many of these things accumulate in a plan file, it destabilizes the plan file, and you can actually lose the entire thing due to a corrupted plan file. So that's something that's very important, and I just thought I'd point that out in passing. The other thing is, I'm not quite sure why you use the custom wall types that you did, and I'm not asking you to defend yourself, but this sort of thing drives this software crazy, in that like this little space in here, let me hit the next button. See this little space in here, although you wouldn't think of it as such, that's a room, and it has a dialog box, and you've named it living, and it has a lot of settings in it, but and this wall here, you've made well, let me point this out. You made this layer here the main layer, so you can see that this wall is connecting to the main layer. That's the way the software is programmed to work. I'm not quite sure what this wall represents, but this is not a good practice. And this file has lots and lots and lots of not good practices in it. And I don't want to beat you over the head, but I use this software professionally for a living every day, and for the last 20 years. I've never created a single file, plan file, larger than 15 megabytes in that entire time. Now, granted, most of the things I'm working on are for construction documentation and not creating little animated universes with a high, extremely high amounts of detail in them. And you should be able to, you spent your money and you buy this software and it's yours to use, but I'm just telling you, guys like me who use it professionally and all the time never create a file this large or this detailed, except just for various specialized presentations, and maybe that's what this is for. Again, I'm not trying to make you wrong, but this sort of thing puts a lot of stress on a computer, and it puts a lot of stress on the hardware itself, on the software, excuse me. And it's incumbent upon you as the user to work very, very methodically, because if you leave behind little mistakes, then they're all seeded into the plan file, and now that the thing's so complicated, they're very hard to find and run down, and it causes odd behavior. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but that's what I'm seeing so far. Let's go over and take an overview of this and take a look at the specific problem you're complaining of. Okay, see this error message here? It says the symbol fireplace cap has no 3D data. It's a corrupt symbol. And I'll just skip that one for now. Oh, here's the corrupt symbol. The symbol exterior handle has no 3D data. In other words, it's a corrupt symbol, and you're packing your plan with corrupt information that's the software can't use and can't work with. And your plan's full of this stuff. Okay, here's a graphic file, can't be found. Now this is a little more common. You created the file on your computer, and you probably used a lot of custom materials. And when you sent me the file, you just sent me the plan file, and not all the custom materials connected with it. Now, this is pretty common here, and but it's just when you share files with other people, you have to I'll just cancel it. There's a bunch of these. I'm just going to skip them. It's the same thing, but each one's a different material. And there's no reason for you to have known about that, because you would think all that stuff ships with the plan file, and it doesn't. We just cancel out of all of these. See, I'm not going to be able to see the file as you see it on your computer because I don't have all the materials. I use the dollhouse material here camera. You can see that there's floor materials missing, and that's a little bit less mystical. It's just right in here where this floor material is missing. Let's take a look at what you've done in here. We'll open up the dialog box and go to the Structure tab, and the floor structure has it's kind of a OSB particle board or wafer board, and then you've got framing underneath it. And it's the framing, the particle board that's showing, and the floor finish over here, you've got a 13 millimeters, and that's the stuff here. I think what's happening here is that the plan is so overly complicated and filled with objects that are corrupt that any PC would be overwhelmed with the paradoxical nature of it. Now, just for fun, I'm going to take this dialog box here and go over here to the Structure tab. Let's see, what's that material? It's FP plank. Okay, I'm going to go over here to the Structure tab and go to the floor structure and get rid of this OSB, and we'll put in the FP plank. I know that that's not correct, but you might want to have some idea of how to correct what you're looking at. And if you were thinking about using this model for a materials list, well, forget it. It's already such a mess that you'll never get a useful materials list out of it. What most people, especially new users, don't understand about the materials list is that the materials list just measures how you created the model and how meticulous you were in making that model a perfect mirror of how you're going to build the thing in the field. And most new users don't know how to do that. It's very difficult to do. Let's see, you just hit the F key over here. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Where's FP plank? I must have missed it. There, it should be along in here. No, further down. Well, I don't see it. It should be FP. Oh, it should be right along in here. Maybe it's under plank. Let me hit the P key. Well, where is the darn thing? Okay, I thought it was in plan materials, but I guess it isn't. Go here to flooring. Not framing, flooring, wood. I don't see it. Where's the plank? Maybe it's under decking. There it is. Plank, FP plank. I think it was, what, 2? No, it was something darker than that. Let's just say that was it. This is an experiment. By putting 2 layers of material in there, no, that hasn't solved it. Okay, I added that there. I think it's the same material. Looks like you dark FP plank. Okay, that's not the same material. Maybe it's under D for dark. There it is. I just want to get both of those material layers the same and see if it makes a visual difference. Okay, the next thing I'm going to try is with the eyedropper tool. We'll pick up the dark stuff that you want and put it over here. Okay, I keep getting this error message here, and that's because you did this earlier and it was overlooked. And I'm just going to click here to not show me this message again, because it's going to keep coming up until you find it and you fix it. That doesn't seem to be making any impact on that. What's the floor material supposed to be in here? Floor. What is that? Black and white tile. That doesn't look like. That must be some custom material that you put in here, and which is you didn't send me with the plan file. Yeah, there should be there's a texture file that I don't have. I don't have a drive E, for instance, and I don't have this specialized material. Okay, that's the reason that was messed up. But that's just because you didn't send me the plan file with all the related textures. The way you do that, by the way, is you go to File, Backup Entire Plan. When you want to share it with somebody, you use this command here. And then it'll back up the plan files and all referenced files, which like all the custom materials that you use. Just for the next time. Well, we're not doing any good here. That material in here is not showing. It's because I don't have it. This one should show, but it's not showing. And I told it not to have that OSB stuff in it. Yeah, let's make the framing that same material. Just as an experiment. So we hit the D key for dark, FP plank. I'm just trying to get a visual for that camera. Yeah, it's not working. Well, let's check out the floor below. See what there's no dialog box down below. Okay, let me check that. That was this room here, I think. Floor under this room. Okay, that should be correct. Hey, unless this is the actual case, these settings are correct. Okay. So I think there's just too many mistakes built into this plan for it to operate properly. And it may sound like a cop-out to you, but I see a lot of these files made by new users, and this is not all that unusual. Yeah, I see a symbol, double bed has no 3D data. That means that the symbol's corrupt and it's ruining your plan. When you get these error messages, it's because there's an error. Maybe not that you made, maybe we're downloading and using this symbol. This electric teapot has no 3D data. It's corrupt. And then, of course, this error message here is just from sending me the file without the texture files, and I'm sure you didn't know about that. It's all right. So it looks like maybe that black and white tile goes here, and I'm seeing nothing because I don't have the black and white tile texture. Let me see what that says. Yeah, black and white tile. That's another place where you use that tile, and I don't have that tile on my computer, so it's not there to be shown. You try a different camera in this office. I think it's a combination of errors. Your walls are not properly put together, and the walls and how everything's enclosed goes together to make this software work the way it's designed to work. And the file's corrupt. I'm sure you don't want to hear that, but that's my estimation, and that the file's been ruined by too many mistakes accumulating in it. And when you're learning the software, you're going to make mistakes. You know, I'm not beating you up. It's not like something that's just only you did. No, lots of new users use the software without really learning it first. It's not a crime. It's just, but sometimes you get non-optimum results. This looks okay. Now some of these materials aren't going to look right to you because the texture files didn't arrive along with the plan file, and so it's going to look different on my machine than on your machine. I think that was the problem you were asking about, is these floor materials not showing. Let's look at this floor in a dollhouse and see what it looks like. We have wood showing most of the place up here. Let's see what's supposed to be in here. Floor covering. Okay, that's that material I don't have, black and white tile. Actually, I think I have a black and white tile material. Well, yeah, I got, see, there it is, black and white tile. Maybe not the same black and white tile you use, but maybe it'll show up now. No? Let me check the dialog box and see how the rest of it's set up. That's the floor covering. No, it's the floor covering. There's the floor covering. And we'll go over to structure. You got that 13 millimeter stick. I can't really think with that. It sounds thick enough though. Let me try my little ploy again. That should be under tile. Patterned. Yeah, there it is. I think that's it. Yeah, there's a black and white tile. Let's see if we can get something to show up here besides, you know, OSB. Well, see, that's goofy behavior because I manually got rid of the OSB, and yet it's still there. And that's because the plan file is corrupt. It's ruined. It's not gonna work properly because there's been too many errors sewn into it by you. I wish I could tell you something happier than that, but I think the truth is going to have to serve. If I was going to redo this, I'd methodically go back through it, like this wall type here. Let's take a look at that over here under wall types, define. If I was going to use a wall type like this, I'd make the center layer the main layer, and then the interior walls would connect to right here to this area here instead of to the outside. If you're happy with the way this is working, I don't think that's causing huge problems, but it's a little odd. See, yeah, you've got this outer layer as a structural layer, and maybe in Britain or where it is that you're building, that's the structural layer that holds the building up. But I can't really speak to that. You'd have to explain to me exactly the structural nature of the wall, then I could have a better attitude as to whether this was correctly done or not. So enough said about that. But if you're going to save the plan, you're going to need to meticulously go through here and find any 3D symbols that are corrupt and delete them, and be very careful with where you get your 3D symbols from in the future. And if you get an error message that the symbol has no 3D data, well, then get rid of it and don't pack that stuff into your plan file. That's just asking for trouble. And you got trouble. I'm sorry. That's what we're seeing here is a plan that's got too many mistakes in it, too many errors, too many hopeful guesses perhaps, and with a size here almost 70 megabytes, that's ridiculous. That size is ridiculous. I've made shopping centers that covered acres that were under 20 megabytes. Now, of course, I didn't put a lot of furniture and downloaded symbols and custom materials into them, and it's your software, and you should be able to use it the way you want. And I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, you have to be very methodical and not, leave any extra wall breaks where they don't belong, and breaks in the roof planes, no symbols that are corrupt, no materials that are all kept in the same folder, and so that everything stays put together in a line the way it's designed to. Well, gosh, Tony, I'm sorry I'm basically just shooting you full of holes, and I was hoping I could help you, but maybe this will help you. I hope so. But I don't think I've got a solution like, okay, well, there is one thing that should work. Like, let's go back to the office. It's kind of not a very good solution, but I'm going to go over here into the CAD tools, box tools, rectangular polyline. I'm just going to draw a rectangular polyline in this room here, and then I'm going to convert that to a slab, and I'm going to make that elevation, let's make it 1 millimeter in height, and we'll make it 100 millimeters thick just for grins. I'm going to make it that, and then we'll go over here and assign the material to it, to that dark stuff, which is basically what you want to see, and you're not being able to see it because it's covered up by everything else. So basically I just overlaid the floor with a slab. Let's see if it worked. I'm sure you want to save the work that you've done in this plan, and this may be a way for you to save it. Okay, I don't see the slab. Go back to plan and see if I can select it. Well, let me see what the floor height is in here first. I assumed it was 0. Oh, okay. The floor is not 0. That's why we can't see it. It's 510 millimeters, so I need to take that slab and set it to 511 millimeters. Set that just slightly above the actual floor in there. Is what I'm looking for. Okay, that camera's still open. There we go. It's a workaround. But basically I just took this slab here and put it over the top of the floor, 1 millimeter thick, and that fixed what you've done. And I think in summation, maybe your walls are okay, and I just don't understand why you did what you did. But anything that's off parallel, you got to check for that, and anything that's and you can check for that by just clicking on the walls and opening them, and you go to the General tab, and there's the angle. So that was supposed to be 0, 0, and it is 0, 0. I'd look for any walls, check all these walls, and make sure that they're 90 degrees or 0 degrees or 45 degrees, whatever they're supposed to be. Like this angle here, I don't know what it's supposed to be. It says here it's minus 82.5, and then the walls above and below you need to make sure manually that they're the right angle. See, that's 82.5. So that's okay. But I would spend some time just checking over and make sure all this stuff is the way you intended. Okay, those all off-angle walls match, so that's probably not a problem. And then check my wall breaks. Like there's no wall breaks in here. Maybe there should be wall breaks, or just check and make sure that all these walls are as you minimally intend them, and that there's no unnecessary breaks in them. Oh, there's a break right there. If this break was on purpose, then I would leave it. If you don't need these 3 walls broken into small segments, I'd put them into one segment, because it's unnecessary stress on a plan file and on your computer and on the software. Okay, that looks all right. And all of these 3D symbols, if any of them, if you can open them up and the dialog box is empty, so that's a good non-corrupt symbol. Let's check this heater you've got there. Okay, that one's showing up all right. But the ones that say that there's no 3D data, they'll show in plan view, but when you open them up, there's no image there. And that means the symbol is corrupt, or it's not written properly for this software. I haven't found any corrupt symbols, but the software told me that they're here. So you just need to check all your symbols and get rid of any that aren't properly put together, and that will help. And you can tell by when you open the symbol up, you'll see a 3D of it over here in the little dialog. And if you don't, if it's blank, then that's a bad one. I don't see any funny looking symbols here. But even corrupt symbols will show up in 2D, but they won't show up in 3D. And so that's what I would look for in that regard, and get them out of the plan. Well, like I said earlier, Tony, I'm sorry I didn't find anything all that useful except a workaround. But I think you've overwhelmed the software with stuff and put a little bit too much into the plan. Like when I do this highly detailed stuff, usually it's for like making renderings. And I've already sent the plans off to build the thing, and then after that the job's finished, then I'll take the leftover model and I'll take it apart and highly detail parts of it, and then render that and for different purposes. But I usually try to get the thing built first and into construction documents before I weigh down the plan with such high detail, which is unnecessary to get it built. It's perhaps fun to make renderings and walkthroughs and so forth. And like I say, it's your software. You spent the money. You should be able to use the software however you like. But I do know its limits. And it's really good for construction documents and doing remodeling jobs and things like that. And it can be used to create large commercial structures, but not with all this high detail in them. It just overwhelms a PC's ability to keep up and a video card's ability to keep up. Well, I'm going to shut this down, and I'll upload the video of this, my look through tomorrow, and I hope it's of some use to you. I'm sorry I didn't find any really happy solutions for you.